and only Mr. Ant-Man.
And we're brought to you by the New Image Project, better known as.
See that?
And we are redefining.
What's cool?
Because smart
is the new gangster.
Baby.
And if you don't know, now you know.
No.
You know.
Yeah, so it's hump day. It's Wednesday. What's on your mind, Wednesday? No, I can hear. Mm-hmm.
Get your back up off the wall. Come on now. Dance.
Okay.
Come on.
Say something.
Get your back off the wall.
Okay.
Yes. Dance. Yes. Welcome. And today is What's on Your Mind Wednesday. You're listening to the 99 Jams Carrot Festa Radio New Morning Show, the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club.
Yes. You just...
That's my script. I got to stick to it.
You got to skip to it. So when are you going to stop?
Never.
Because at one point, we're not going to be new.
We always knew. We always got a new audience, a new person watching, a new person tuned in, and we always talking about something new. So
new to somebody.
Old to you, but new to everybody else. Big shouts out to Mo Show Live. I want to give a big shout out to Mo. This Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is Mo approved, and if you want to watch the playback, you can go to Mo Show Live on FM. I mean, not FM, but internet radio. Everything is everything. When everything is everything.
Everything is everything.
When everything is everything.
Oh, okay, all right.
So what's on your mind?
So listen, I want to start off light because we don't really have that much time before we got to take our break. Right? 4th of July is tomorrow. Does it even feel like a holiday tomorrow? Do you have any plans for tomorrow? What do you normally do for... okay, so wait.
I don't celebrate no 4th of July. Man, listen.
You don't do fireworks?
So 4th of July is Independence Day for these Americas, these United States. People don't know 4th of July is the celebration of Independence Day. And it's a day off to everybody else.
So it ain't a day off for you?
I mean, for everybody else, it's a day on, not a day off.
So you know what? So we're probably gonna do like a cookout. Sometimes I wanted to go to the beach and watch the fireworks at night. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm just not. I think that is cool though, going to the beach, watching the fireworks, because I know Gulfport gives an amazing sometimes firework display. St. Pete Beach.
Yeah, so I used to go St. Pete Beach. The pier does one. I used to go down there. But like at St. Pete Beach. The last time I went, a couple of years ago, we kind of sat out there in the water and just watched them because you could see it all the way up the coast from even wherever they shoot them at, like Clearwater. I don't know, but it was pretty. It's nice and relaxing. Always. So yeah, that's where we're at with it.
Since we I want to give a big shout out to the Shirley Proctor Puller Foundation. They were just on the Spectrum News. For doing their work, highlighting the Shirley Proctor Puller Proctor Foundation and the work they've been doing and the achievements and the gaps for closing the gaps for the students in the South St. Pete area. Thank y'all for the work y'all doing. Big shout out to Competitive Readers Club, formerly known as the Barbershop Book Club. Also doing great work with helping closing the gaps for reading and education for the children.
So it's called what is it called now?
Don't do that.
You just read I missed it. That's why I was like, formerly known as the Barbershop Book Club.
Oh, Competitive Readers Club.
Okay, that's a competitive
I don't know what
reading.
You're talking about, dude. Competitive Readers Club
is
the name of the situation.
Okay.
And big shots out to Antonio Brown and all the great work that the homie doing.
All right. Okay, so yeah. And then we had, if you missed yesterday Monday's show, we had Caprice Minon.
Yes.
And we talked about
the school board member, Pinellas County, your Pinellas County school board member.
Put some respect on it. I see what you did. But But yeah, so she came in. We definitely talked about the children, the gap, and we also want to talk about the double up arrest in the school board. I mean, in the school system,
County School,
right?
The arrest, yes, the arrest in Pinellas County School. The arrest in Pinellas County School has always been a issue. If it's not often talked about, and then a lot of times those arrests are our black kids, black and brown kids. And I try not to be with the black and brown thing, and I just say black. I don't know.
Okay.
But yes.
Good morning, you be good. Good morning, Miss Teresa. Good morning, Mom.
County. If people don't know, Pinellas County at one point sent the most juveniles to prison from school, which they call the school to prison pipeline. A lot of people don't know Pinellas County actually led the school to prison pipeline for some years, if not decades. So this is an ongoing issue that we have with our kids and the schools.
Right. So we're definitely going to get into that too. I know if you read our caption and what we're going to really talk about for that second hour, we want to take a moment of silence for the family and friends for Derek Lane, aka D Black, aka D Lane. If you knew him, Uncle D would be who everybody in the world knew Uncle D as. But here in Pinellas County, St. Pete was the names that he had that we said earlier. If you don't know who he is, he was Rod Wade's road manager, and yesterday or the night prior, he took his life. So we want to take a moment of silence for that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a serious situation. And just with all due respect to the family and everybody, there hasn't been any public announcements of causes. It's just been a lot of rumors, and you know how people run in with the rumor mill. So what we want to do is just stay stop with what's this and that, and just rest in power to the homie, and send love and condolences to the families that's hurt.
Right, because I mean, it was a sad day in the city yesterday, and what we're seeing here, not just here but across the board, is people are really screaming out about mental health yes. and taking their lives. If you see, there was a cryptic message from Ray J that was put out there, and similar to the same thing. About being tired and ready to go.
Yes.
So the next, because we're gonna have to take a hard stop, but stay tuned, tag a friend. We really want to go in there and talk about this, and see what we can do as a community. Right? You see the number up there. If you know anybody who is struggling, give them the number 988.
Yes.
The suicide watch number.
Yes, if you or
suicide prevention number.
Yes, if you or anybody you know are dealing with any issues, there is help out there. You can call 988. If you or anybody you know going through it, please use the number.
Right. So with that being said, we're gonna take a hard stop. We'll be back. Tag a friend, tell a friend that we will be on about 7 minutes after the hour.
Hello, I'm Gabe Ortiz, and this is WEDU Arts Plus. Based out of St. Pete, the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is a morning radio show about hip-hop life and urban culture. Meet the hosts who inform and empower their listeners.
Edmond. I go by Mr. Edmond. My role, I'm a host and I'm co-founder.
My name is Brother John Muhammad, Your Brother John, yourbrotherjohn.com. and my role on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is host or co-host.
I just go by Kiana. Sometimes you may hear the guys call me Q. I may say Q just depending on my personality that day. And I'm the female of the crew. All right? I think I keep balance when you look at the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. So that's my role.
And I'm Bruce Moore Jr. A lot of people do know Bruce Moore Jr., obviously being born and raised here and going to school here, but there's many more people that know Reno.
St. Pete is small, and so the good things and bad things that come with a small city, you know, everybody knowing each other, of course, would be one of the pluses.
My neighbors were not only just my neighbors, they became my family.
Trying to put that back now, like really getting back to a place where we know our neighbors and we look out for each other. It was a St. Pete that existed, you know, south of Central, and then there was another St. Pete that existed north of Central and downtown. It was a struggle then, and I think it's still, you know, somewhat a struggle for black people in the city of St. Pete.
Even with every step of progress we make, it's still a struggle to, implement that progress.
Did y'all hear about the weed college, the first cannabis college
in Orlando?
Talk to him, Sean Soprano.
No, yeah, I've been looking at it.
This is serious, y'all.
Over a year ago.
If you got the charges, go and get the degrees, King. You got years of experience, man. It ain't like you come into a classroom with no data.
Elon Musk said that a drug dealer knows how to manage and run a business better.
I can't believe that.
The real facts, man.
I'm all about education. But what I'm saying is that we carry this industry on our backs.
The way we started the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, Jabbar approached me about what could we do, how can we do something together, and then an opportunity to promote Amendment 4. Amendment 4 is the, voting rights restoration to returning citizens. We were able to negotiate a deal where we got like 30 minutes on the radio at 99 Jams to talk about, Amendment 4 and other local, policies.
Hello, I'm Gabe Ortiz, and this is WEDU Arts Plus. Based out of St. Pete, the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is a morning radio show about hip-hop life and urban culture. Meet the hosts who inform and empower their listeners.
To returning citizens. We were able to negotiate a deal where we got like 30 minutes on the radio at 99 Jams to talk about, Amendment 4 and other local, policies and politics. Enjoyed it, so we started doing it on Sundays as like a podcast with, at the time, Janet Michelle. She was our co-host, and she, filled that role until she moved. And then we had Carla Bristol, Carla B. She came in for a season. And then Reno was behind the scenes. He was always present because we did organizing together, so he'd come and hang out. And then the things that he was saying off camera was like, man, we might as well just have you on the show.
The negative thoughts that you is thinking about right now, or any particular subject, y'all, just flip it.
Turn problems into opportunities.
Problems are opportunities, man. Big shouts out to Sean Soprano, man.
Real deal, man.
We on the jump board together right now. Just being around people and clearly always talking, I just felt like at least learn something, so as you see that you're not going to shut up, you can have substance to your conversation and not just be labeled somebody who just love to talk.
Really being informative, looking to give the information that isn't readily available in our community.
Multiple meteorologists can look at the same data and come up with a different forecast.
And so now you take those models, take that data and say, okay, based upon all of that,
absolutely,
you might be in between here and there, and that's my know what I'm saying speech. Most recently, after Carla B, transitioned out and went to do other things as well, Kiana, we invited Kiana.
I've been working with the guys for a while outside of this, and they called me to interview. And when I came in to interview that Sunday, after the show, they was like, hey, you need to be a part of the show. And I was like, okay.
I look at it almost like a band and the instruments, but it's just the instrument that we're using is our voices.
My voice is already kind of squeaky. I know my voice can get squeakier.
You have to have your radio voice on and have that vocal control.
I talk lower when I need to calm it down. And when I'm very passionate about it, I slow it down. And because I want you to understand what I'm saying. What's good for the geese is good for the gander. So if you keep it secrets, just know that she can too.
Okay, and see that's why Kiana, that's why you need it on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. You feel? So you gonna even things out. You know what I'm saying? I was just joking. You know what I'm saying? It was joking.
We just understand power, you know, and in terms of people's attention, you know, because it costs. People's attention costs. That's why it's called pay attention.
We want to present local information right up there with, you know, the trending topics.
One thing that's a common denominator with all of us is that we're all passionate about our people.
For me, what you take from me is that I'm real and I'm passionate about the growth of our people.
The overall goal, I would say, is to have a more informed community. Around electoral politics, around health, around equity.
It's about the mission of connecting the dots and closing the gaps, inspiring people to see what's possible, you know, and trying to be an example. You know, I don't know if that's
was to make sure. And just like that, we are back. We are back. We are back. Back.
Yes, we're back.
And you're listening to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I am Kiana.
And I'm the one and only Mr. Edman.
And we're brought to you by the New Image Project, better known as
See That.
Because we are redefining what's cool.
And smart is the new
gangsta.
Baby.
And if you didn't know, now you know.
I do the Biggie Smalls, baby.
You know what? Before we get into, did you watch the BET Awards?
Yes, it was absolutely trash.
Okay.
I think I'm glad you brought up the BET Awards. We should have had this in the comments. The BET Awards to me looked like an episode of Boondocks. Have y'all ever seen the Boondocks BET Awards? They predicted it perfectly. Go watch it. I think what happened is the BET was sold to a white corporation, and that corporation has taken the opportunity to really, because it looked like a strip tease. Was that just me?
It did, kinda.
Listen, and the problem is, and I have nothing wrong with strip teases or strippers or the nightlife, right? So this is coming from I spent 10 years in the strip club. So,
used to be strip club connoisseur.
Yes. like it's a goddamn food of choice. But no, the reality is that's a part of our culture. It's not our entire culture. Right. And when I was watching like some of these super talented women and men, you know, gyrating and fornicating and all that stuff, I just didn't feel right. It didn't feel good to me.
It didn't feel good.
No, it didn't feel good to me. I couldn't enjoy it because what would usually be one or two risque performances became an entire show of risque performances. Ice Spice. Did you see Ice Spice performance?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's like the cameraman was all up the girl butt. Go back and watch it.
I'm not.
See? You know how usually you'll watch the old performances?
I went back.
No, I would not.
I'm just not. I didn't. Sexy Red.
Sexy Red was in the back smoking joints and twerking. You didn't see that?
Oh,
you seen the behind the scenes?
No, I did not see the behind the scenes.
It's like the prestige that the BET Awards once represented is no longer. And y'all call in, let me know, how did y'all feel about the BET Awards? Do you feel the BET Awards is still the prestigious awards it was?
So let's go with. So I like how Taraji came out. Everybody with her little rap, they not like us. They ain't like us. Boom, boom, boom. But Taraji was a miss for me.
I thought so too.
She was a miss for me.
She reminded me of
Sugar
anime.
Avery.
No, anime. Eat the cake, anime.
So we're going with something similar to the same thing.
Sugar Avery. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm kind of like, and I hate to say this, like, because I don't like to bash.
No, we don't. We're not bashing. We constructive criticism.
This is constructive criticism. It definitely could have been better. You know what? Also, the BET Awards was missing. There was really no men performances at all for the BET Awards.
Say that one more time.
There was really no men performing at the BET
Listen,
Awards.
these people really listen. I don't know who the producer was. I was just talking about this with one of my producer buddies, and I don't know who the producers were. And it's just like they're out of control, and there's nobody to bring them back. I think since BET was sold to like Viacom or whatever company it was sold to,
and that's been a long time. Like they've been sold to Viacom for a long time.
And it's been trash for a long time. Oh, trash. Bubba Dub voice. Trash.
But I did like Killer Mike's speech.
I missed it.
Oh.
I missed it.
And then they had to beep out all of Usher.
Yes, I seen some of the it. And people, the new controversy is that he was speaking about Sean Diddy Pitty Combs, and that's what they were saying he was talking about. But he was actually saying some very explicit things. And I thought it was odd that they were bleeping him out because they didn't bleep out Ice Spice and all that cussing she was doing.
Why you hear Ice Spice cuss?
Yes, they were cussing. I heard it. They were not performing the radio versions of these songs. These were the explicit versions. They were cussing blatantly. And then to do that to Usher is a conspiracy, y'all.
Oh, I'm not going to go that far.
Watch out for it.
I'm not going that far. I'm definitely not going that far.
It's developing. Watch out for it. It's developing. Watch out for it. So, speaking of the BET Awards, also during the BET Awards, Taraji P. Henson gave, what's the brother name?
Yeah, his flowers, and he dropped it.
He dropped it.
He came back and talked about this. I saw it.
Who was he?
I don't know.
We don't even know who this.
No, but him and his wife. Yeah. So he came in, and what he said.
Keith Lee. Yes.
Yeah, that's what.
Thank you.
Jam behind the cam. He said that he's always been a fan of Taraji, him and his wife. Right. A picture is going on with his wife, like looking ugly when Taraji was like dancing with him and stuff like that. But the whole video showed her like laughing. It was just a glimpse. You know how like your face changed? And he was like, the reason why he ended up dropping it, he said, because he didn't think it was for him. And if you get it, you get it. Because one, he had seats. They made him move seats, and it was
to be right there.
And it was kind of like prompt too at that time. And he was like, that it wasn't for me. Like if it was for me, they would have put it in there. Don't just throw me into anything just to try to do it. So he was like, it really was no disrespect. That's just who he is as a person. If he feel like it's something that's not for him. And he just, So.
Hey, no, he got a good publicist or whoever writing, because he was like, hey, man, if y'all gonna give me an award or y'all gonna honor me, please let me know. Because I think the man felt punked. Because first she was talking across him to the other brother.
Right.
Talking about Method Man lookalike.
Right. And then
she was finna give him a lap dance.
And he didn't look nothing like Method Man either. Right.
I think he did look like a little Method Man.
I didn't see it, but you might have saw it. I didn't see it.
I'm just saying he looked like a little.
But she was talking that she said some names wrong. She.
I don't know. Was she under the influence?
I don't know. We're not gonna spread that rumor.
I'm asking.
Yeah, but we don't know. So he ended up dropping the flower. And really, because again, like Jabbar said, that she was actually talking to the guy across from it, like it was him, his wife, and then another guy.
Yeah.
And she was talking to him, and then probably somebody said no in her ear. You give him the flower.
Yep.
And so then she kind of had to clean it up. No, and then she was like, you know what? I'm done with flowers. Give them to whoever. That's kind of where she just kind of. So I can understand why he was like, wait, hold on. Don't second man me. I ain't second choice. Treat me like an option. I'm going to show you how many options I got.
So that was a very interesting moment in the BET Awards. And among other moments, like I was saying, it was hanging out. Now I can't.
Some people decided not to even perform at the BET Awards. So just because.
I think I stand with them. I wouldn't have performed either. I think honestly. I think we need to boycott the BET Awards.
No, we're not going to do that.
Let me. Can I speak? It's on my mind right now.
Okay, what's on your mind?
I think we need to boycott the BET Awards until they get their act together. Everybody is not hoochie mamas. Everybody is not strippers. You know what I'm saying? We got ballet dancers. We got so much to offer entertainment wise. I feel that they tried to put our entertainment community into a box.
All right, I'm not disagreeing.
And inside of that box, it was just a whole bunch of twerking and hanging and twerking. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
But can you see that this BET mirrored what the music is? They mirrored mirrored
I
what
can pull my playlist out and
that's your playlist.
Exactly, but I'm not the only person.
But listen,
everybody is not. That's what they're trying to program us to, and that's what as we watch it. That's why I have a problem with that program. Because that is what people think is our box. They think that is our people. They think that is what we're into.
So you didn't even let me finish what I was saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I do believe that we listen to more music than that. But what I'm saying is
tremendously more.
This is the mainstream music that they are pushing.
May I say that the majority of that mainstream music that they're pushing is not even listened to by black people? It's white people? You see, that's what people don't know. The number one rap song and the number one rap music does not become number one because black people are listening to it. It becomes number one when the white people start listening to it, when it becomes a crossover success. And at that point, the number one fans are actually white people, right? And we don't think about it like that, but when the artist is underground, that's usually when the black people listening to them, right? Once they get to the top, and it be all over the TV and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a whole bunch of suburban kids, and ain't nothing wrong with it because that's what makes the industry. But
again, so I'm gonna say, when I was saying that it's memory, you made me love mirroring what mainstream looks like, and that's what they're pushing the narrative. And so I agree with you is that the black culture is so much more than that.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I really think about it, I mean, what happened to the ballet dancers, the jazz musicians, and one time for Will Smith and Kirk Franklin, they did a little. And
it wasn't received well.
But it wasn't received well by who? You get what I'm saying? Who? And because the reason they're doing that, so next year they're gonna have it's gonna look like a strip-a-thon. They're gonna have poles coming out the wall, random poles everywhere, and people just gonna be floating around on the pole, men and women, because it's about equality. So they're gonna have it.
If you want me to tell you, I'm okay with
okay with that?
No, I'm okay with.
They're gonna have the biggest strip pole in the world. It's just gonna come out the sky.
I'm okay. Let me tell you, I'm okay with it. I just think it needs to be diverse. Like, I don't think that should be, because Sexy Red is who Sexy Red is. Right, that's her music, but also right. And if you're listening to it and that's your artist, that's what you want to hear, right? But again, there's a lot of other performers so it needs to be a more diverse and look like the culture across the board. So I'm not saying don't do it, but what I'm saying is that's not all us, and that's not all we have to offer.
I thank you so much for that because we're absolutely so much more of a we're a kaleidoscope of entertainment and entertainers.
They did throw some country in there. They tried to do the country black singing. They do two of them in there. No, there was the black girl who sung country and the black guy who sung country in there.
But that wasn't the dominant theme.
No, but no, it wasn't. Yeah. But what I'm saying is they threw some. I'm not gonna knock because we talked about Kurt Franklin and Will Smith. We talked about
Kurt Franklin.
We talked about the two country singers. So there was a little bit in there, but it wasn't enough. It was like sprinkled. We needed to when I look at the awards, I want to be like, ooh, like the awards are supposed to be the best of the best, the top of the top, you know, when they're coming out, and the people who definitely has made an impact on the industry. And now I will say the people who came out has made an impact on the industry, but there's so many more people.
Yes. And
good morning.
So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the BET Awards, and
Mama Boo is retired, so she no longer has to wear a watch. Yes. So she has nowhere to be. She don't have to check her time.
Congratulations, Mama Blue.
Mama Blue woke up late, she said, because she's retired, because she can do that.
Whoa.
So, all right. Now that we done talked about the BET Awards, let's really get into the mental health of the Black community and the high suicide that we have. I don't think it's anything new as far as mental health. We do see the numbers increase for our Black men and suicide. We see an increase in our children. And there's a lot more awareness about it. Social media has made it easier to talk about and people to be able to tell the truth. But it also has added extra stresses to people to have to live up to personas that may be impossible to reach or to keep up.
I'm listening. And thank you. This is a very important subject. We just was talking about it with Keyshawn's Corner, with Rakisha Fuller, and we said we were going to have to talk about this more, and we said that this is going to be an issue. So if you or anybody you know are dealing with any suicidal or any ideations, 988 is the suicide prevention hotline nationwide. There is help out there. 988 is the number. So we definitely want to speak about the resources and the way you can help. But I got some stats and I have some numbers.
Go ahead.
The suicide rate among Black or African American populations increased from 5.5 per 100,000 in 2011 to 7 per 100,000 in 2020. The suicide rate among the overall population increased from 12.3 per 100,000 to 13.5. And that's from the national statistics, Black populations. There is now listen to this, Black Population Suicide Prevention Center. And that's sprc.org. That's sprc.org, Suicide Prevention Center.org. That's where I got that data from. And we got one of the highest rates of suicide going on right now.
And why do you think that is?
I think people are having a hard time dealing with issues and things that come our way. And, you know, I think people looking for some type of relief or some type of escape that you can't get. And they look to, you know, solve it in that manner, I think. Which leaves another issue after the tragedy, which affects even more people. It's like a domino effect. And if you don't use that pain and that hardship like as a conductor to fuel you to do something positive, you know, it will sink you. You'll be in a sunken place.
Then you see it that it can then be a ripple effect as well. Because when you love someone and you're really close with them, and if that's all you have at one point, right? In your, some people will, and again, we don't subscribe to all, and we're not therapists.
No.
So this is just a conversation that we're having.
A conversation that need to be had.
Right. You know, because when your loved one or somebody that you depend on then take their lives, or who depend on you, a lot of times the next thought is maybe I should take mine.
Yes, it's a cascading like effect where it just ripples
like
out.
what else should, like if they're gone, because you know identities are, I'm trying to figure out how to, your identity is attached to people.
Yes, who you are is
right
attached
to somebody
that,
you know what I mean.
Agreed.
And the role that you play is attached to people that you love.
Yes, we all play a role in people's lives, no matter how big, small, or what we think of the role that we play.
So let me say this, like as a mother, my role that I play is Cheyenne's mother. My identity is attached to her in some type of way. My identity is attached to my brother in some type of way. My identity is attached to my mother in some type of way. And depending on how significant you are to these people, the role that you play, you know, the burden falls back on the loved ones.
Yes, I'm going to share some most shocking statistics, and like we said, trigger warning. So if you are having a hard time, or if you need to talk to an expert, 988 is the toll-free line, and that's 3 numbers, 988.
Also, this is a community conversation, so we're going to throw the number up there and have you call in if you want to have this conversation. 727-637-2416 to tap in, and let's really talk about this. But go ahead.
Okay, new federal data shows that the suicide rate among Black youth ages 10 to 19 surpassed that of their white counterparts for the first time in 2022, increasing by 54% since 2018, compared to 17% increase among white youth. In fact, the suicide rate among Black adolescents is increasing faster than any other racial or ethnic group. From 2007 to 2020, the suicide rate rose 144% among 10 to 17 years old, although the overall rate is trending downwards. This data is alarming, and it needs to be addressed. And we need to have more conversations about it. Just pretending like these things aren't happening does not help our community. It does not help our loved ones. We got to address it.
Do you think we have sometimes unrealistic expectations for people?
I most definitely. But I also think that a lot of those unrealistic expectations are programmed into us through society, through whatever means. And sometimes we just got to dial it back. You know what I'm saying? Because especially like for men, a lot of time men don't feel there's nowhere they can get help or nobody that can show them love because they got to carry everything.
Right. And so let's talk about that, because I see some men like really express. I hear this all the time. And then I have a group of females who are loving women and try to give their men that safe space.
This is crazy. And I got some more stats, and stats are just popping up. And this is crazy when you look at these numbers.
Okay. Did you hear what I said though?
A little bit. What you said?
You did. All right, Joe.
I was reading.
But you were saying how the men
hope y'all elect me for president. Since you want to call me Joe.
I mean,
hope I get elected.
You are.
I hope they stand behind me like they stand behind Joe.
They have.
Okay.
So have the
No, they haven't.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Ain't none of the places that you are the president for stand behind you.
Y'all try it if you want. Try. Just try. Try to see.
Yeah, but back to the serious.
Serious.
Because you were saying that Black men feel like there's not a safe space, or they have to carry it all by their own. But I'm with a lot of Black women who's offered that support and you refuse to take it.
And oftentimes, it's who the help and support coming from.
It's not.
We were just talking about this.
But sometimes
It's who it's coming from. That matters.
But let me tell you, sometimes it's not about who it come from. It's about what you've been told. Because listen, you can have somebody in your life that you know that supports you, but it's a vulnerability that you have to have. But you're told as men that you're not supposed to have that.
No, that's true.
And so you then to put the narrative that like, because if you marry somebody and you have built a foundation, y'all funds are together, they done had your children, you know, there is some type of trust level that you have there, but there's also a blockage that you have that you won't let people get even closer to you. And it necessarily doesn't have to be because this person ain't gonna be a safe person. It's just a vulnerability that you feel like you don't want to tap in.
But
and we don't subscribe to all.
I'm going to tell you that the messenger is the message, right? And a lot of times those messages fall on deaf ears because of who the messenger is. And if the messenger is the right person, then the message gets through. And then oftentimes, like when they're in these situations, sometimes the message ain't coming from the right person. That's all. I ain't saying all the time.
I agree with that. Go ahead.
It's one of those things where, you know, a stranger of the right person or caliber or whoever can get a message through than a loved one.
And you want me to tell you why?
That's why the village is important. We talk about this all the time.
But you want me to tell you what happened is because a lot of people feel you attacked, right? When if you have an anger problem and let's say your spouse is always telling you like, yo, like you really need to talk to somebody. No, I ain't need to talk to nobody. You don't want to hear it because you feel you don't want to admit at this point the weakness, right? Right? And because they're close to you, they just trying to control me. They want me to do what they want to do. I want to change when I'm ready to change. You know, like these things that you need to do. Oh, no, I don't. In your mind, you said that you healed from your childhood trauma, but people that's with you that's trying to tell you, like, no, but when a stranger sees it who does not know you, then it makes you say, aha, that person might be right. Because they're not in your.
Sometimes that's a part of it. And then sometimes in our relationships, we build up like I call them like points. Mm-hmm. Like when you're in a relationship with somebody and they supportive, they help you, they build up, you know, but then inside of those points they build up, it'd be like a defense mechanism. You don't want that person to look at you that way. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And then, okay, now here you go again, judging me. And it's like, no, I'm trying to help you. But, okay, I need to get somebody. That's why the importance of getting help.
It's kind of like, it is. But
that's the importance of getting help because you need help.
You need outside. Again, this is why outside therapy, because when people are close to you, you feel like it's a judgment
and
thing.
An attack, yes.
Right. That's what, and it's not. It's kind of like parenting when you're like I said,
and you need another person to come in. Somebody come talk to this boy.
Somebody else outside of me, because they'd be like, well, if they saw it, then okay, yeah.
I hear that.
Anybody who's close to you can say something a million times, and again, you feel as if it can be judgment or attack, and
or ridicule,
and it's not constructive. But they want to really see you win and do better.
But sometimes that help exacerbates the problem, right? And it adds more pressure, and it doesn't relieve it. It doesn't let the pressure, because and you're right, because some of this data shows exactly what you're saying. Findings suggest that the prevalence of depression among African American men ranges from 5% to 10%. They face a number of risk factors, yet evidence low use of mental health services. So what they're saying is that, you know, specifically Black men are faced with certain risk factors, but yet are low to use the mental health services. Mm-hmm. So that's a disparity that
because again, you're told that to do this is a weakness, right? To be vulnerable, to talk about your feelings is a weakness. Like I hear men all the time is I don't operate off of feelings. I operate out of logic. You know what I mean? Like if it's emotional that you come to me, I'm not listening. It has to be logical for me to even entertain it. Mm-hmm. And that's not necessarily right. You need it all Because if you wasn't supposed to use your feelings, we wouldn't have none, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we wasn't supposed to use logic, it wouldn't exist. You can't throw everything out. Like, it can't be one or the other. We have to figure out how to use all of it in a proper manner.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we have to stop telling our boys that to be a man, you got to suck it up. Like, and we tell them, stop crying,
mm-hmm.
And all this. It's healthy to cry. And I'm not saying all the time, and that's for everybody, but it's healthy to cry. It's healthy to feel your emotions and to go through it, because if you don't release it in a healthy way, it's gonna blow up one way or another. It's coming out.
Yes. And helping people with the tools, helping people learn how to not let it explode. Right. Because that's what happens. We bottle it up and it explodes on some person, or we explode on ourselves, which is what we're talking about. If y'all just tuning in, we're talking about, you're listening to 99 Jams Care Festival Radio, the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, and we're talking about suicide prevention. So there is a trigger warning. We were asking people, if you know or a friend, or someone you love is going through issues, we're suggesting 988 is the emergency helpline for suicide prevention. That's 988, 3 numbers. And we're asking people to call 988, get the help you need. Right now we're talking about black male suicide rate. We just talked about black adolescents, which is up 144%.
Right, which is a lot.
That's bananas.
That's a lot.
It's the fastest group and the largest group. And it's our young and adolescent and our black men. That's what the numbers say.
So when I think about this, let me get my thoughts together when I put that statement out. But what I do want to say is that we have to rally up around people, right?
Yes.
And now the survivors is who are left.
Love
and
on
then
your people.
What you have the survivors is survivor's remorse.
Yes, or real grief.
It is.
Real
because you then start to blame yourself. Like, what could I have done? Did I add to it? How did I not know? What, these are all the questions
that you ask yourself. Yes.
That you have yourself. And then you start to point fingers at yourself. And then when grief hits, you start pointing fingers at everybody else as well to make clarity of the situation.
And this is the black male suicide silent epidemic, right? It's a silent epidemic. They found that suicide rates in black male adolescents increased by 47%. Black suicidologist says it's partially due to the stress and anxiety. I didn't know there was a such thing called a suicidologist. That's something. So what the problem, I think the biggest problem is, like you say, we got to let people know that they can vent. They don't got to hold it in. We got to give people spaces and places to vent, right?
Right.
People to vent to.
But but giving them spaces and places, right? You have to be, the part of it is because I think we have spaces and places, right? I think people do have people in their corner that's willing, not all, but you have to be willing to be a willing participant in it. That's the part that's the hard part. The willing participant. I can give you all the services and tell you where you go, but if you refuse to walk through the door, if you refuse to take the services, it's hard, especially when people think that they have it all together. So,
in this story, there's a narrative that suicide is a white thing, and that is, and it just can be nothing farther from the truth. Some of these data is showing that it's very much a black thing. It's a people thing. It's a human thing.
It's a human thing.
And once we take those labels off the issue and just say, hey, we have an issue in this country and we as a people are experiencing that same issue as well. And probably from this data, we experience it more
because the unrealistic expectations that you have for Black men. When you
say that again,
the unrealistic expectations that you have for Black men, or just Black people in general, like Black men and Black women, there's unrealistic expectation. We have to be the best, but then we're told that we're the weakest. We have to do everything, then we're told that we are lazy. We have to take the brunt of everything and say that you're supposed to turn your cheek and forgive your enemy all the time. We have to prevail. We get a job and then we have to dot our I's 5 times to make sure it's right and cross our T's another 5 times to make sure it's right. And then we also told that when we go to the job, we're too Black to be in this position, and that you have to change. So there's a lot of unrealistic expectations that you have on a community, that when you come in, and then when you do be successful, right, you got to come back home, and what you see is people now telling you done switched out because you're not Black enough because you done this. So there's no winning regardless of where you go. We just seen it with LeBron James. We talk about generational wealth in our community all the time and how important that is.
Soon
and then
you see it, you bash it.
Then you see it. Now there's a problem.
Soon as you see it.
Everybody in the world was uproar. And how many times do
I hear you.
Keith give his son a job at his company? Many times the business meetings are made and said that, hey, the Hilton's family it has generational wealth, and they made sure that all their children had a stock in Hilton. Their grandchildren had it. They carry the Hilton name, and nobody is complaining. LeBron James made sure that his son plays for the Lakers, and now we're uproar and mad about that. So just imagine about the regular Black guy or Black woman who's just trying to make it. You want to go to corporate America, and just because you don't do the slang, you're not Black enough, and then because you do the slang, you're not corporate enough.
I mean, it's a catch-22, and it is a truly stressful thing. One of the things that we got to get away from is that the need to continue to go on, even though we're having mental health issues. Mm-hmm. Learning how to identify mental health breakdowns. Mm-hmm. Learning how to identify, resources that can help, because there is a lot of stress. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of things that we call everyday life that really is really is a hard thing for people to get past, but they got to. There's no help and there's nothing they can do. They just got to come on and go to the next.
And I'm going to tell you, look at your strongest people. The people who handle the most, the people that you depend on the most, are probably the ones that's struggling more than anybody else, because they have nobody that they can turn to.
And they have the most weight on their shoulders. So I want to talk about mental health. It's still new to Black folks. The language and research around mental health is very Eurocentric. Mm-hmm. It was not made for Blacks. That's what Dr. Burnett said in his article, and I want to highlight that because that's why we've been talking about mental health so strongly on the show, because we know that it's something that's not talked about. Mm-hmm. We know that it's something that needs to be talked about. We pointing people to resources. We're helping develop resources. We're helping do focus groups. We're being a part of the solution. So we definitely want to say, if you or anybody are going through anything, there's a national hotline that you can call. The hotline is 988. That's 3 numbers, 988. Call, get the help you need, talk to somebody, talk to a professional. Because we want to stop this cycle. We want to get in front of it. We want to start having a dialogue. And we want to take away that fear of being judged, right? That fear of judgment, what they're going to say about me and Listen, we're going to take that off the table. What people say about you and what they're going to say about us about seeking help is their business. Don't worry about it. Get the help you need.
Right.
Talk to the professionals, talk to the people you need to talk to, and don't worry about what Susie or Lulu or Juju gonna say. because the problem is they might be going through some health and mental health issues that they need help for.
A lot of people, a lot of people do deal with it, right? And they deal with it in silence. And again, nobody wants to be the person that looks like that you're crazy or you look down. And we keep saying it's like a mental. If you had diabetes, you would go to the doctor and get it treated. If you have high cholesterol, you're gonna go get it treated. If your mental is tiring you out, you need to go and get it treated. Just like your car, you go get an oil change, you go get a checkup with your car to make sure it's run. You got to do that with your mental. Like everything has to in line.
Yes, everything. And go get the help, because that's one of the things. One of the data points that they were mentioning in this article. And I put this article is on Forbes magazine. And the title of the article is "Black Male Suicide: A Silent Epidemic." And I'll put this on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club page so people can read it and see where we're getting some of this data and knowledge from. But Black people handle stress since a young age. We are raised in high stress environments as normal days.
And it shouldn't be.
And it is no surprise that, that it's getting to this point, because the stresses are getting bigger and greater, and people are getting less and less tools to deal with it. And it's a sad occasion. Once again, 988 is the suicide prevention hotline. Please get some help, because like this article said, according to the Centers of Disease Control, Prevention and Control, Black male adolescents are the most likely. It just blows my mind. And we have to start addressing it, because our community is suffering in its silence. I really want to speak to our elected officials, our leaders, the people at the top. We need to start talking about this in a very public way.
Right.
I see a lot of initiatives, a lot of things going on, but this is the type of thing that, we got to get behind the Keyshawn's Corner, a grassroots effort to help with this problem. We got to start other ways for men to get help. There's a lot of groups out there doing a lot of things around economics, a lot of things around a lot of different things. And very rarely are they mentioning suicide prevention, and these suicide stats.
And we really need to, as a community, everybody knows that we're an advocate for therapy here.
Yes, big advocate.
A big advocate. I can say for myself, I was depressed. A lot of people depend on me, right? And when I went to therapy, I knew for me to help other people, I had to make sure I helped myself. I had to, when you get on the plane, the first thing they say when they're going through the things, if you have a child with you and something happens, put on your oxygen mask first and then help them.
Yes.
A lot of times we put on everybody else's oxygen mask before we take ours. Yes. And we're the person that they depend on. And if we are not healthy, if we're not making sure we're getting the air that we need, there's no way that we can make sure that they have the air that they need.
Yes. I mean, like they say, we have to get the help we need. We got to reach out to the people. We talking about a very serious subject, y'all. And it's not light at this time. And we just want to say, get the help you need, man. 988 is the hotline number. If you know anybody going through anything, reach out. 988 is the hotline, suicide prevention hotline number.
Right. So, we want to leave it at that. Again, prayers out to the family and friends.
Yes.
A good guy who life was took it,
Yes, too soon.
Too soon. And we just, and people try to say, sometimes just being there, you don't even have to say something. Somebody thinks that you have to have the right words to say, but your presence sometimes is enough said.
Your presence is the right word.
Right.
Yes.
Because sometimes you can't relate with people, and don't try to.
Yes, that's where we really fall fall short because we try to relate. And sometimes you just don't have to relate. Just let's move forward. Let's have the conversation.
Have the conversation. Be there. So if you see somebody that's acting different, that's one of the signs. People are typically creatures of habit. When something changes and they stop doing what they normally do, it's because something typically has changed in their life.
Yeah.
So if you know somebody that's really outgoing and then they like immediately stopped all of that, check in on them.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody always have the same personality across the board and you never see anything, check on them. I'm a happy person and there's no way that I can be happy 24 hours of the day.
And check on your happy friend.
You just
right. Don't wait for the change because you might not see it.
No, but that's what I just said. If there's no change,
yeah, you might not see
we come in here. Mm-hmm. Some days I'm not happy when
you ain't sometimes you can tell, yeah.
Right. Sometimes, but
that's human.
But if I come in here every day, 300, check on me because there's no way that I can be happy.
Yes.
352 days, 54 days of the year.
And we can encourage people to seek the help that they need. We don't gotta put this stigma on people. Mm-hmm. Listen, talk to a professional. Mm-hmm. Get the help you need. Our community is a judge-free zone. Yes. We're making our community a judge-free zone. Where there's a lot of judgment, we're gonna take the judgment away so that people can get the help they need. And it's for the community.
We do have an ex Kiana if we want to pivot, if it's still heavy. Good morning, Sharonda. It's up to you. How do you want to do it? We got like 8 minutes.
Okay, hey, Ex Kiana is brought to you by One Community Grocery Co-op. If you join the One Community Grocery Co-op, search Google One Community, St. Petersburg, One Community Grocery Co-op, and find the grocery co-op near you. I don't know. Okay, dear Kiana, hi. I'm struggling with co-parenting issues and could really use some advice. My son is with me. I have rules and discipline in place to help guide him. However, when he's with his mother, she lets him do whatever he wants. This inconsistency is causing confusion and behavior issues with our son. How can I effectively communicate with his mother to get her on the same page as her, help her understand the importance of having consistent rules and discipline for our son's well-being? I want to ensure we're both working together to provide the best environment for him. Thank you for your help.
Co-parenting. You got to have two mature people to co-parent properly.
Okay.
One, it's really hard to tell an adult or explain to an adult because it's even sometimes it's hard to explain to children.
Yes, I was just going to say
what to do. Unfortunately, you can't run nobody else's household.
Yes. But if you're co-parenting, can y'all have a?
Go ahead.
I mean, if y'all co-parenting, can y'all have like a group rules?
Y'all can, but you got to have two people that's willing to have this conversation and set this up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What happened is in co-parenting situations, somebody wants to be the head and what I say go. Yeah. Like, this my house, and it's a lot of, not all, but it's a lot of bitterness when people cannot co-parent properly. There's a lot of bitterness and resentment that you have on one of the parties because things ain't worked out the way that you wanted to work out, or you feel like more is on my shoulders than the other. And how you gonna tell me? So you have a lot of things. And again, you have a lot of situations where bad parenting or bad advice from your parents or your friends keep you in the cycle of doing your children the way that you was done. You know what I mean? Like and we want to say once you know better, you do better, but that's not always the thing that happens.
The people know better and still
and don't want to do better, but it's a pride thing, and you really. I always suggest when you cannot relay the message, you have to get somebody who they respect to relay it. to middleman the situation. It's always somebody in their ear that say, hey girl, give this a try. And maybe they may listen, maybe they may not.
And that's one of the secrets of success. Good leaders, successful leaders, billionaires, and huge investors, that's their biggest talent, knowing how to find and outsource and get the help that they need that they don't possess themselves. And as a parent, you are the leader of your home or your leader of your child's world, right? Father, mother, whatever position you play. And sometimes knowing when to outsource the help you need, knowing when to go and say, okay, hey, this is not my wheelhouse. I'm not the person for this. That's when you can lean on the other parent.
Because it's the thing is,
if you can.
But y'all know what I stand on. Do you have to be right, or do you want the situation to be right? And a lot of people
they want to be right.
They have to be right in the detriment of their children.
I hear that.
You
just can't be right and crash out with your kids.
But you'll see a lot of people that do. You'll see a lot, but kids need structure. So, sir, you're not wrong with the structure that you're saying that they need. Unfortunately, you have a partner that doesn't agree with you on that. So suggestion is get somebody that they respect to try to have the conversation. Again, sit down and tell them, like, let's have a heart to heart. Like, communication is so important, but not only just communication, empathy. People forget about the empathy that you need in these relationships.
Yeah.
Honestly, sir, another way that it would be is sit down and ask her, why are you so resistant? What can I do personally to make this relationship better, where we can be on the same page? Hear what she got to say, because she probably feel like you're not listening to her.
That's usually how I always feel. Everybody feel like they're not being heard.
Right. And so everybody in the corner. So if you really want to sit down and say, hey, how can I be, even if you don't think that you're doing anything wrong.
How can I be a better dad?
How can I be a better co-parent to you to make this move smoothly?
I really like that that thought pattern. And then also knowing that all the answers may not be within you or within y'all relationship. And some of the answers y'all looking for is in the outside source. And the outside source could be a counselor.
Yeah. Also, there's all types of things that can use, but I would try some of those methods that I said, but sitting down and asking her, hear what she has to say and listen to her without any rebuttal.
No judgment zone.
No judgment zone. So if you want to do this co-parenting, call her and just listen to her. Don't give her no rebuttals.
Yeah.
Just take it in and then tell her you heard her, and then really listen to what she said, because again, this is about the children. And then again, because the same thing that you're standing on, like this is the right way, she's standing on this too.
Yeah, I hear that. Yes. Great advice though. It's 8:59. Final thoughts is get the help you need. If you know somebody that's struggling, 988 is the suicide prevention helpline. Please get the help that you need. And we're here. See y'all Friday.
We'll see y'all on Friday. Be the change you want to be or see. Write down those 5 things that make you smile, giggle, make you feel good. I say this every time, and this is why, is because a lot of times we harp on what happened bad during the day, and we let that dictate our whole day, when so many beautiful things happen that overshadowed that, but we let the negativity takes over. So please release, relax, relate, release, right? So that your mind, body, and spirit is all in line. All right.
First Friday at Urban Drinkery. Meet me there.
Don't beat me there. And so stay tuned for Sister Hughes.
Lose your shoes and shout all around the house.
And we are out. This has been the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I am Kiana.
And I'm the one and only Mr. Edmund.